What's up, and welcome to the Los Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Eslam, aka Rock God the Son, accompanied by Dan Papa Son Killer, Dan Emperor Disco, and Rudy, the antagonist. How's it going, everybody? Not
What's
everybody
up,
speak at
y'all?
once, please.
I was purposely staying quiet.
Not
I was.
everybody jump in and
So,
speak at
so
once.
I want to point something
It's
out.
not
I
like
want to
this
point
is an
something
audio
out.
podcast.
You always do it in a sense of like, who's supposed to respond if you're introducing all three of us at the same time? I always wonder this.
The funny thing is,
You
like,
could
I
all
heard
say
it,
like hello. I'm like, what's
feel
up,
like-
guys? You could be like, hey.
it almost felt like he was asking the audience, though.
Yeah. So
Like,
usually what I
that's
do,
how you guys doing?
normally the way it works, Eslam does all this, and I sit there quietly and wait for Disco to respond. Then after Disco says something, I say something. Just so you know, that's how I do it every time.
I got thrown off because Henry messaged right when he like
Literally,
introduced.
it's
I was
like we just
oh
stopped
god.
on. Can I get a birthday shout? Like, I just turned this thing off. Give us
Happy
a
birthday, Henry.
second. Happy birthday. Henry.
Happy birthday to you.
No, we gotta sing that at work every couple of weeks, but it's not that.
Oh, thank God we don't have to sing for anybody at my
Dude,
job.
I
We just give
perform.
them cake.
I perform.
I don't know where you work. You hug people, you sing happy birthday. I don't know where the fuck you work at.
I've done karaoke twice and I killed it.
He be training
Good
people
shit.
too, man. He does everything. He's like a Navy SEAL.
Well, that's the job. That's my actual job. But yeah.
Oh, you're like an official trainer person now. You don't like do you do phones or you just training?
Sometimes, but yeah, I train people.
Damn. Disco, was
Okay.
that your cat?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sound
So
like Mr. Hanky.
I was just making sure no one was dying in the next
Yeah.
apartment.
He's in.
You need to check on
We
the
haven't
cat.
got her spayed yet, so she's
Oh,
just
okay.
been like hurting for a squirt, and she's just been yelling for some dick over here. I'm just like, yo, shut the fuck up. And they go.
That was a
Cat, I don't know.
crazy no, I'm stopping you. That was a crazy consecutive sentences. She's hurting for a squirt and just yelling for some dick.
Have you guys ever seen a cat in heat? I've never known cats do this, but cats literally like if you don't get them spayed, they like get like a feverish towards the male like population.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like
They go in
they're
heat.
screaming for it. Yeah, so that's her right now. She's screaming for some male attention.
There's literally a whole South Park episode related to this. I remember I saw it not too long ago, and yeah.
Okay.
For squirting.
So shout out to Sox Guy 78. Jack, is that you? Did you change your name? I can't remember. Is that always been Jack's name?
You
Somebody
asking
answer
me?
me. Somebody
You
answer-
asking
I
us?
just got here.
We just spent 20 minutes talking about the wrong dead guy.
Okay, it is you, Jack. I'm sorry. I can't remember if you changed your name or if this was your name or not. It threw me off.
What
I
is
don't even know
called
if I've ever
cheese?
met this person before.
Jack, yeah, he's been on the podcast multiple. I hate all of you so much.
No, I know who Jack is.
Jack has been here. I work with him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
been
yeah.
on this podcast
Wait,
multiple times.
Jack, what is called cheese?
Nice to meet you for the first time.
It's his middle name. He's called Jack Cheese.
No, he's not. The South Park.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Thanks. I
okay.
was like, what's happening?
This podcast just went off the rails before we ever went live on Twitch. Like, jeez.
Very true.
Oh
Very
my
true.
god.
But yeah, that was wild. You and your cat. That's so funny. Oh shit. All right, let's get this
She's
back on
less
track.
than 1, 2. She's crazy. It's crazy. Cats grow up so fast. She was my little
Yeah.
girl, and now she's a grown woman.
When we got my mom's cat, she was already spayed, so we didn't go through none of that. Thank God.
What does that mean? What is spade?
It's the same as neutering the male.
Yeah.
What, they
They-
just
they
cut out
take-
the ovaries or something?
Yeah, they take out their reproductive organs.
Oh, okay.
All right, so enough about veterinary, whatever. Let's jump into the main topic of the podcast.
Yeah. Can I just please take over real quick?
We're doing the Royal Rumble review, and I'm gonna leave it up to Dan from now
Thank you.
on.
You can leave it up to me. See what happens. Makes himself big screen. There it is. Okay. So, yeah, we're gonna talk about the Royal Rumble. There's a lot that's been going on in the wrestling world lately. We're gonna talk about it. I was joking in the group text with the guys talking about last time we did an episode. I didn't have any wrestling, and it was like, yeah, nothing major's happening. And as soon as that episode ended, stuff started happening. It was just like, oh, we got something for you. So, I mean, pretty much this whole episode is going to be dedicated to the Royal Rumble, the Vince McMahon stuff, and everything in between.
I can't wait for the Vince McMahon stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. But anyway, so real quick, I was at the Royal Rumble. First time I've ever been to a Royal Rumble.
Nice.
Yep, I went there with Rudy. That's why Rudy's here. Rudy, say hi to the people.
Hi, people.
Thank you. All right, Jack. You just chime in whenever you need to, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, so I got to go to the Rumble. I've officially done the big four pay-per-views for WWE, that being Mania, Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. And I told Rudy I no longer have to go to a WWE event. I did it. I did what I need to do.
Nice.
I'm accomplished. If I ever go to, that's just out of fun, which I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it is what it is.
Which is funny because then Jazz kind of offered your services in the event that we ever go to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, Sam, I'm like, he does not want to go. He's done. He's done. He's accomplished. And she's like, no, he said he's coming. I was like, all right.
Just buy his ticket for him.
Yeah, I'll
If you
leave
want
that
him
to
to
her.
go.
So we went to the Rumble, and I'm sure Rudy and I had very different experiences. I'm missing SummerSlam, but I've been to King of the Ring. And Jack and I have talked about this. King of the Ring really, back in the day, should have been considered one of the big five. King of the Ring was a big fucking deal back in the day. They got rid of it, and man, I wish they did. Imagine just a bunch of matches in one night. Winner gets to fight the champion. You know what I'm saying? That's what made Stone Cold Steve Austin that King of the Ring that year. And look at what Stone Cold became. You know? Lesnar, he won King of the Ring back in the day. We're going to talk about Lesnar too today. Don't worry. Got a lot to talk about him. But a lot of people came through King of the Ring, and they did what they had to do. So one hell of a pay-per-view. Wish they bring that back. But yeah, so we went to the SummerSlam. I mean, we went to Royal Rumble. Got to go live. We got to do a lot. Austin 316 says I just whooped your ass. That was made at the King of the Ring pay-per-view when he first said that. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. But Rudy, this is your first ever WWE event. You've been to a wrestling event in the past. You and Eslam, you went to an event that neither one of you remembers a goddamn thing for.
I
And,
remember it was like Ring of Honor and Japan
yeah,
Pro Wrestling.
And who? Who?
Japan Pro Wrestling.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All right, I was close.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And I went to fucking AEW. Come on, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Went to Boston for that shit right before COVID.
Went right to Chicago.
Boston. Sorry, was it Boston?
We were in I just said Chicago. I just said Chicago.
Oh,
He
okay.
literally just said Chicago. He said, "Oh, Boston."
No, because the way he said it, I thought I said it wrong. Because I think before I used to
corrected
always
you.
say
Said
Boston.
No, I'm sure, sir. We also
You
went to
said Boston wrong,
C2E2. You know the
Chicago.
C. The C stands for Comic Con. No, is it? No, comic. Yeah, no. We went to C2E2, which is also in Chicago. That's a Chicago thing.
Okay. No, yeah, okay, yeah.
Remember
no,
the
because
Windy
Was
City?
y'all
It was
seeing
really
Boston?
windy.
No. I remember I said Chicago, and then you were like,
No, you
the
said
way
Boston.
I said Boston the first time.
Yes.
You said Boston twice.
You said Boston
shit,
twice.
Shit, I thought I said Chicago.
He said Boston, Chicago, Boston.
I think I need to go to a doctor, guys.
Yeah.
because I could have sworn I said
You've been
Chicago
fucking
the
up all
first
day.
time.
I've been talking to you for about 20 minutes. You've been
All right,
fucking
I'm
up.
just gonna mute my
nonstop.
mic. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up.
So, Rudy, this is your first ever WWE event. Real quick, what'd you think about it? Just top level. Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, no, it was definitely one hell of an event. Like I said, I kind of said it to you afterwards, and I kind of agreed with Jazz. Was like, I don't know if it was the Royal Rumble or if it was just the entire vibe of the WWE event, but I was like, makes me just want to go to WrestleMania. And it wasn't. It's not even just WrestleMania. Like you kind of want to go to WrestleMania because it is we're on the road to WrestleMania now post Royal Rumble, but I would love to go to an NXT event. Like I just like to go. Like the vibe, the electricity, the energy. Like it's something nostalgic about it being that I used to watch wrestling as a kid and then just kind of seeing all the energy and the vibes that people give off there. Like you can, for lack of better words, you can feel the love that all these people have for every person that well, not every person, but like a bunch of the superstars that walk out of that door and just the explosion of energy. Like now I understand what The Rock meant by the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Like it's electrifying in there.
So one thing I want to point out, Rudy, you felt the love from the crowd and everything. I just want you to know, I did read online. A lot of people were just shitting on the Tampa crowd, man. Like, man, they had no fucking energy that whole show.
Damn.
Oh yeah, that was man. There's plenty to talk about as far as my perception of it too. That's crazy.
Yeah. And even myself, Rudy will tell you, there were many parts where I did not stand up, I did not cheer it. He was like, "Why aren't you getting up?" And I said, "They got to earn it."
That man didn't get up at all. That man, you would have thought he was fucking like Gordon Ramsay judging a cooking competition. That man sat down, and I'm over here.
I got up when it was necessary.
My voice is still recovering. I screamed my fucking head off many times. I look over at Dan, there's like,
I screamed quite a bit, especially during the last match. I kept on shouting, "Hurry up, my back hurts."
He did. He definitely did.
But yeah, no. But anyway, we're gonna kind of just go through what happened on the Rumble. We're gonna talk about that top level. But yeah, no, it was great. I got to see where Rudy lives. I have his address now, and
I got
yeah,
yours. I saw your ID.
okay. Well, guess what? We know where each other lives now.
I'll find
Put
you.
that shit in the group chat, Dan.
But yeah, we did that, and yeah, Rudy welcomed me to his nice home with Jazz, and once again, thank you both of you for that. It was much appreciated.
Not my choice.
And you invited me, and yeah, so we had that, and yeah, your first event. I was glad I was there for your first ADB event. Jazz's first wrestling event. Period. She was hyped. She was hyped.
From
So
the
excited.
jump,
It was great.
From the fucking jump.
She was just
Like a fucking cocaine addict. Like the whole fucking time I was like, we're in the car. We're just driving.
And I was playing wrestling music the whole time.
Playing Rikishi's ass songs the whole time.
Yeah, Rikishi did a song back in the day, the WWE Originals album. He did this not Barry White. He did this, Barry White type of song, real smooth. Rikishi. It's called "Put a Little Ass on It." One hell of a song. One hell of a song.
Nice. I miss the old WWE.
That old ass.
No, the old WWE where they
You
did
didn't
shit
even
like
watch
that.
WWE in the like.
I
Well, they
did.
used
I
to
watched
show
it
it in
when it was
Boston.
WWF.
Just barely. But anyway, I got the Royal Rumble stuff. I did put together a little slideshow, and it's a long and there's a lot going on. So we're gonna kind of just break it down and talk about stuff as it was going. So I'm gonna start presenting here, and I'm gonna share my screen. Okay. And okay, so Eslam, you know what to do on my end, on your end, I mean. Let's go over here.
Why is it taking you 2 hours to share screen?
Because I was clicking the wrong thing. I've never shared my screen on this brand new computer.
It's talking mad shit.
You see it?
Just like the Nuggets.
Yeah.
We good?
Yeah, it's up.
Okay,
see
cool.
it. Yeah.
I no, because the way, like I said, my computer is weird. I can't see shit. But
Don't
what's
you
it
have
called?
2 screens?
No, I need to get the second one. I just
Just
have
talking
one.
mad shit.
Yeah. So we went to the Royal Rumble. Let's start off. First thing that happened that was worthy of talking about was Naomi coming back to the Royal Rumble. A long time ago, we were talking about Sasha Banks and Naomi. They were your women's tag team champions, and they went ahead and they weren't getting the matches. They weren't being promoted. They were really upset. They weren't getting paid the amount that they should have, and they both left WWE. Naomi went on to use her real name, Trinity Fatu, since she's married to Jimmy Uso, one of the Usos. And she was going to TNA. She became TNA World Champ, Knockouts Champ, and just killed it. She was doing everything. She just left, made her debut or re-debut back in WWE. As you can see, she was number 2 in the Rumble. Now, Rudy liked to say that I did not get up for anything. I just want to point out I was standing literally the moment I heard her music. This is number 2 in the Rumble. The night had just started, and I was already on my feet cheering. Naomi deserves that respect. So I was there. I was cheering for her. Very happy to have her come back. Rudy, how'd you feel about Naomi?
A lot of ass. So much ass. She's got the biggest ass in the business. No, I mean, like I saw, I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. That shit just like took the whole screen up. I'm sorry. No, I mean, it was really like as soon as she came in, like I didn't know the music, but like the entire place fucking erupted. And like when Dan stood up, I was like, okay, there's got to be something. And then when I saw it was Naomi, I was like, oh, okay. I remember her before she left. So, but I mean, but it was pretty cool because they had like almost like a black light vibe, as you can see from the picture. Like she was glowing, her shoes were glowing pretty much the whole beginning of the match. Like
Naomi, feel the glow.
Feel the glow. I didn't know that was a thing.
It says glow on her neck right there.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, she's been doing that for many years now. She would come out, they do the whole black light thing. She literally glows in the dark and just starts dancing. Yeah. And then really good dancer. She was actually a trained dancer and everything. But yeah, she came out and was killing it. Just put on a show. It was her and Natalia were going at it. She was number 1. But yeah, no, very, very happy to see Naomi come back. Let's move forward to the biggest thing that happened, in my opinion, in the entire fucking show. Jordan fucking Grace showed up at the Royal Rumble. This is a huge deal. You see that title around her waist, guys? That is the TNA Knockouts champion, which means she works for TNA, which means she does not work for WWE. She's not in any way affiliated with this company. She's a champion at a rival company. and showed up at number 3 in the Rumble. And Rudy, what did she do in the goddamn Rumble?
She was number 3.
She was number 3.
What did she do? She just fucking tore everybody apart. I mean, like the moment I saw her, you can see her. Like we were pretty high up, but like the moment she came out, first of all, Dan lost his shit, and then the first thing he said was, "What the fuck is she doing here?" I was like, "Oh, she ain't supposed to be here." Like I was just like that's all I thought to myself. Like the way Dan was saying shit, you would have thought that he was like he had a vendetta against some people every time. He's like, "What the fuck is she doing here? What the fuck is he doing?" Like, oh shit. But no, she says you can tell from this photo, she's fucking jacked. Like she's a fucking monster. I looked her up after the Royal Rumble. She does like powerlifting and bodybuilding type workouts, and she's not really that tall. She's like 5'2", 5'3", but she is a monster. She was picking up people, throwing them out, throwing them all over the place, and I was
one hell of a wrestler.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
I mean, back when I was watching TNA a lot more closely, she was beating up guys. I could be wrong, but I remember her winning the TNA World Championship, not the women's one, like the straight up just the championship, straight up beating men for it. Like. She's just that damn good. Amazing wrestler. When she showed up, I was like, yeah, she might be the best goddamn wrestler in this whole match right now. At all 30 people. So seeing Jordan Grace show up was incredible. And she was just kicking people's ass. I mean, very, very nice to see her there. Obviously, it was a surprise. And there are talks that perhaps there is going to be more work between WWE and TNA, something that we never would have seen under the McMahon regime. So very, very cool to see that. I would love to see more wrestling companies interact with each other in that way. I mean, Jordan Grace is a killer. There's a lot of people in these other companies like TNA, for example. I would love seeing them work. And she had a cool moment with Naomi because, them both being from TNA. Naomi, the former Knockouts champion. Naomi, the current Knockouts champion. So it was a cool moment. They hugged and then they started beating the shit out of each other. So it was a really cool moment.
Jack is saying that Bailey was number 3.
Well, I'm completely wrong then. So Jordan Grace was like later on. Yeah, guys, if you see something in the chat, let me know because I'm literally just looking at the picture of whatever I'm showing you because I still haven't figured out how to do this on my computer.
Yeah.
Unless Eslam, you want to share it, up to you.
Yeah, sorry, I spaced out for a second. I didn't see it come in.
I'll be watching the chat though. It's all good.
No, I was going to say Eslam, unless you want to share the screen, I meant.
I just didn't know his name. I would have said
share what screen?
It's all good, man. No worries. We're good. So I'm going to move on. So after that, I want to talk about this moment right here. This is Kairi Sane, and here she is just hanging on for dear fucking life. So usually Kofi Kingston has these moments usually where he kind of like doesn't get eliminated. Either he gets thrown out the Rumble, and the rule is if you have both feet hit the ground, you're going to be eliminated. So Kofi would do something where he does a handstand, or he'll land on top of a commentator's chair or a desk, or he'll land on the not the ring apron, the stand where the sides. I can't think of the word, but he would go on. No, not on the steps. Well, he's been on the steps too, but like the barrier between the wrestlers and the ring.
Okay.
He would land on that and then like jump in. So
nice. Yeah,
so he's done many moments. Once he was walking on pancakes.
So it's like floors lava type of thing.
Literally, yes. So Kairi Sane gets eliminated, and as you can see, she got to the point where she's literally has both her feet hanging on this, and she's just hanging on for dear life. The memes of this were incredible. They put her on in front of a train and made her look like she was Spider-Man. Like it was incredible. She held it for a while. She ended up her feet went down because who could hold it for this long? But I feel like she held it longer than most people could. Rudy, what'd you think of that?
No, I thought that was insane. Like honestly, when I was like, it was one of those moments where I've seen Kofi do similar things in the Rumble, but he's always found a way to kind of come back. I was looking at this position. I was like, I don't know what the fuck she's about to do.
There's no way she's getting back in.
No, yeah, there's no way. But she held on. She held on like, and I was like wondering if people were trying to let her hands go or if they were trying to pull her back up. But like, it's impressive. It's just impressive for what it is.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's such an awkward position to like be stuck in too.
Yeah, we're talking about it. I think this was not planned. I think she kind of fucked up, and then she just caught herself. Was like, all right, well, this is where I'm at. Yeah. Let's see if we can get back in the ring.
I think she went over the ropes and looked like she was about to fall out and just kind of caught herself there. And then that was just kind of like where she stuck.
I'm pretty sure it's hard to see from where we were at. If Jack, if you're in here, if you guys just keep an eye on the chat, I think she might have had 1 foot hit the ground, but the rule is 2. So that's the thing. She might have had 1 hit the ground and then she kind of like went back up and tried to push herself back up. It just wasn't working. But yeah, no. So it was a cool spot. Just wanted to point that out real quick. Kairi Sane. Best elbow drop in the business, Then we move on to one of my favorite moments in the Women's Royal Rumble. R-Truth came out. R-Truth is a very confused man. He has been for quite some time. He went into the Women's Royal Rumble, not realizing it was the Women's Royal Rumble. And yeah, as you can see in this picture, he called the timeout, which you can't call timeouts in wrestling. There's no timeouts. But yeah, R-Truth is just a national treasure. He's a gem, and he needs to be protected at all costs. He's just a comedic wrestler who's always at the wrong place at the wrong time. Henceforth, this right here, Nia Jax, in the picture as well. She was in there. She was dominating, kicking people's ass. Then R-Truth comes out, and he's just like, hey, "It's my turn." and then Adam Pearce has to come out. Was like, "You're not in this Rumble. This is the Women's Rumble."
Yeah. He came out. He called the timeout. He said, "Where the men at?" And then he came out, and who was the guy that was trying to direct him? Dan?
Adam Pearce.
Yeah, so Adam Pearce was trying to get him out. He's like, "That's all men in there." Like he was just confused by what was happening. Like hilarious.
It was great. And R-Truth had to come back later. I have an image for that one too. But yeah, it was funny. Backstage behind the scenes. So the storyline for Truth, real quick, top level, he's trying to be part of this group. That's a bunch of heel guys, a bunch of bad guys. They're called the Judgment Day. And he's acting like he's been part of the group for months, and he's just not. But he's weird. So in his mind, he's been part of their group. And he's friends with everybody. And he always points out Tom and Nick Mysterio. The name is Dominic. It's Rey Mysterio's son, Dominic Mysterio. But Truth is so confused all the time. He says there's two of them. It's Tom and Nick, but he never met Nick. I think he thinks he's sick or something. So it's funny because when if you look behind the scenes, when Adam Pearce is just like, you're in the wrong Rumble or whatever, and then he's just like, he's like, no, that's the right one, blah. And he's like, what happened to your hair? The reason why the general manager of SmackDown is called Nick. I forgot his name. Nick, last name I can't remember right now. And he has hair, and Truth confused the two GMs from Raw and from SmackDown. So it's like, no. He was like, you said I could do this. So what happened to your hair? And then Adam Pearce is like, no, that was Nick. And he's like, Mysterio? It was hilarious. So
Nick Aldis.
Huh?
Nick Aldis.
Nick
Aldis. Thank you. Yeah. Did Jack put it in there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. But yeah, Nick Aldis, another guy who was in TNA and and NWA and all that. But let's move forward to the next one. Here's another really cool moment. So on the left, that's Bianca Belair holding up Liv Morgan. On the right, we have Jade Cargill holding up Becky Lynch. Jade Cargill on the right, this was her first time in a WWE match. This is her WWE match debut. Monster. She was a badass in AEW. She was undefeated for the longest time, lost one match, or I can't remember if it was one or two, and then left the company, went to WWE. Bianca Belair has risen through the ranks and become one of the top people in WWE. People always said this would be a dream match, Bianca versus Jade. We got to see them stare off. They were just monsters beating the shit out of people. They had their interaction, and after this, I think they both just dropped the people they were holding and just stared at each other, and everybody just started losing their mind. Right, Rudy?
Yep. They dropped them right behind each other, and everybody just kind of agreed. That girl is jacked also. That
girl
came in. I mean, she came in and like you saw the previous photo that Dan put up with Nia Jax and how big Nia Jax is, and like it kind of was like a standoff between the two of them, and it was kind of like a lot of like this entire crowd hates Nia Jax. Like she came in and the entire crowd just hated her. Jade came in and knocked her out the ring and just like showed her strength and her power, and then the crowd just like loved it.
Picked her up easily. Now, once again, just a reference.
Yeah.
This on the right is Nia Jax. She's large. She's a very large person. Jade picked her up like she's nothing and just threw her over the top rope.
Yeah.
That's Jade's strength. Like I mean, I'm sure they're going to do something with her and Bianca. Cannot wait to see that. And it's going to happen at Mania. It's going to be phenomenal. All right, and let's move on to the next one. The finish. The winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, very happy about this, was Bayley. Her first time ever winning it, and Jack is right now. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, she was number 3 in the Rumble, and she broke the record for the longest time ever in a Women's Royal Rumble. Last year was held by Rhea Ripley, and Bayley beat it. Here she is celebrating and pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
Bayley's also 30 wrestlers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, it was 30 wrestlers. She was number 3. Bayley, she lasted from number 3 to the very end. And, yeah, she was a heel, and everybody was cheering for her. Rudy, what'd you think about this with old Bayley?
I mean, I think we talked about who we thought was going to win the Rumble. I called Bayley as well in the beginning, so I thought it was pretty cool. Like, I mean, like I kind of knew of Bayley, but like all I know is that there was a girl that was literally like in the front row to the left of us, and she was like the biggest Bayley fan I'd ever seen in my life. She started twerking. It was just she was trying to get a chant going.
As one
for
does.
Bayley.
Yeah. Hey, we want some Bayley. Was that it?
And yeah, that's exactly what she was saying.
Yeah,
I'm
I wasn't paying attention to her.
I wasn't gonna join if everybody else wasn't joining. So I was like,
if I would have heard her, I would have joined her.
Oh, she was alone. She was having the time of her life. Yeah. But Bayley's
my leg was hurting. I couldn't join. Yeah, no, Bailey. Very happy to see Bailey win the Rumble. Very much deserved. The match after this was the men's fatal four way for Roman Reigns Universal Championship. Um, I don't know if I'm going to sound biased or whatever because I knew Roman was going to win because it felt predictable. The match was all right in my opinion. It was okay. Rudy, how did you feel about that match?
I was, going in, I was really excited and hopeful for it. I like when we first started, I had no like so just for some context, there was only 4 matches in the entire Royal Rumble.
The entire show had 4 matches.
Yeah, which was insane to me. But I mean, like I'd never been to a show, but as soon as the Fatal Four Way being the second match, I was very shocked by it because I was like, oh, it seems like this would be the main event type of match. But going in, it was as a fan, it was a really cool experience because I know Roman, I know AJ Styles, I don't give a fuck about Bernie, aka LA Knight, and I'm blanking on the last one. The
Randy
Viper.
Orton.
Randy, thank you.
Oh wow.
So it's like having the nostalgic feeling for Randy back in the day, and the Roman now, and seeing AJ, like it was cool to see these big names and everything like that. But I don't know. I guess because it was so much going on in the match, it was a little lackluster for me. But also because you kind of could see that Roman was gonna be the guy to win it again at some point. Oh, actually, I take that back. Actually, there was a moment in this match. I mean, am I holding off? Okay. There was a moment in this match where Randy's RKOing the shit out of everybody, and then he pins Roman Reigns, and it goes 1, 2, and honestly, Jazz and I thought that he got it so bad that we jumped up out of our seats on the 3, but then he gets pulled, but the ref gets pulled out of the ring by I was going to call him Sequoia. Solo Sikoa. I was about to call him Sequoia.
You guys were very excited, jumped out of your seat. Oh my god, Randy's gonna win. Rudy, what was I doing?
You said that you did the same thing you did the whole night. Sat your ass right there.
I knew damn well Randy Orton wasn't winning that goddamn match. Come on.
He was like, "Are you surprised? Are you surprised?" He's yelling at me. I was like, "No, I'm not enjoying myself no more."
Takes out his belt, starts beating you.
Yeah, for real. That's what it felt like. He's like, "Are you surprised?" I was like, "I'm sorry. Just gonna sit my ass down now."
Yeah, I remember Jazz was telling me like Jazz is she doesn't watch as much wrestling. She had this feeling that Randy's gonna win, and I was like, man, I hope you're right. I would love to see Randy Orton walk away with the championship today. And she was like she was like, I have this feeling. I was like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I disagree with you, but man, if he wins, I will get out of my seat. I will be extremely excited. And then Roman won. I was like, damn it. I was like, I was hoping for Jazz. I was like, man, I really hope Randy does do it. But hey, it's not the first time I went to a WWE pay-per-view where I wanted Randy Orton to beat the champion and he let me down. I still remember what happened. SummerSlam, the Izod Center. He should have beat Cena.
It's such a weird feeling though, because like when Roman comes out, the entire place goes crazy. Like they love him.
The aura changes.
But at the same time, like the moment the match starts and it looks like Roman could lose, everyone kind of wants Roman to lose. And I'm like, that's very interesting. It's very interesting to see this entire crowd go crazy and be excited for like this girl in front of us putting her like what was it? Dan made me put my finger up. I didn't know what it was for, but Dan made me do it.
That's the AJ Styles. That's the Roman. You just put up the one because he's the one. But we're doing the AJ Styles thing where he does this with his hands. That's where the little girl, like who was the first. She wasn't that little. She was maybe like I don't know. She could have been
16,
anywhere,
maybe
like 16. That. She was excited for every single wrestler that came out in this match. And AJ Styles came out. She just had her hands up like this the whole time. And Rudy's looking at me. He's like, yeah.
I was like, I purposely, I knew what he did because in football they wear those.
They do with the gloves, yeah.
And so I purposely fucked it up.
And what happened?
She's staring me down like, no, you're fucking this up right now. Like,
Rudy just gets all embarrassed and fixes it.
That's funny. Damn, bro, you got punked by a little girl, bro.
She kept her finger up. She looked for me. I kept my finger up just because I'm telling you, yeah, those people are intimidating.
Speaking of people getting people in the crowd being weird, Rudy, what happened to that guy that was kind of next to the girl that was twerking for Bailey?
Oh my gosh! So this one guy, like he was done. He looked like that guy from The Hangover with the beard, and he had drank too many beers, and so we were on the second row up on the. Like,
I don't know
the
if you guys can see my mouse cursor at all, but I'm kind of like circling. So we were more or less up in like that area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this, and mind you, all it is just a railing. So like like a railing in concrete. So you could literally jump off this and die. So this guy's just tossing empty bottles of beer,
just throwing them over the edge.
Over the edge, and I'm
hate those goddamn people.
Exactly,
bro.
trust me.
Had to deal with them at the arena all the fucking time. So annoying.
I was like, oh, I'm like, this guy's, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then I looked at him like, oh, this guy's gone. So then when this match ended and the next match started, Jazz and I went to go get something to drink, and I saw a cop, and I was like, all right, let me get my drink first, and I'm gonna tell this cop exactly what's going on. As soon as we came back, somebody was already telling him what happened, and then they brought him out. This guy was like, they had 3 cops. This guy was intoxicated. They brought out machines to try and help him. Like, this guy was done.
Yeah. So when that was happening, because I stayed at the seat, and I look over and I realize everybody in my section is like looking to the left and back. I was like, how come nobody's watching the match? Why is it just me? And then I look over and I see I see cops. And mind you, Eslam, cops, they didn't even get security. They got cops to do this. It was like, that's crazy because at our arena, we would have to do it. But anyway, they got cops there.
Well, this is Florida, bro.
That
Ain't nobody working security in Florida.
That is true.
It's just straight up police. Like, you don't know who's on bath salts trying to eat your face.
But so the cops are standing there, and it's funny because then everybody in my section was like, this is the motherfucker right here. He's the one that's doing it. And then it's funny because at that point I was just like, Rudy and Jazz are going to ask you what's happening. It's really loud in here. I don't want to explain it. Let me just record it on my phone. So then I'm like, I recorded my phone. I sent it to Jazz. I don't know if she showed it to you, Rudy.
Yeah.
I just recorded just so I could show them. It's funny because in the video, I think one of the wrestlers is coming out or something's happening. And then as I'm recording, the guy who's like one of the fans, he just gets in the way. It's like, Kevin Owens. He just like moves his hands. He's just getting up. I was like, that's the end of that video.
That was wild. That was so wild, man. I was like, yep, this is what I remember, because all I remember was when we went to the G1, and then when we went there, and then
G1 Supercard.
G1 Supercard. And the guy that was behind me just fucking hitting the shit out of my chair, and I was like, this is what I expect from wrestlers. And like, everybody
is this the one we went to in the Garden?
Yeah, the G1 Supercard.
Okay. Yeah,
because that happened to both you guys. The guy just
remember that guy that was behind us. He just kept fucking hitting the shit out of my chair or whatever. I was like, this is what I expected wrestling to be. That I see ladders falling on people. Fuck you, Jeff.
There's a difference between wrestling and WWE sometimes.
Yeah, I realize that now. But yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, so we saw that, and then back into the wrestling. The next match was Kevin Owens trying to win the United States Championship from Logan Paul. So they're going out there fighting. Not a bad match. They had a really good finish, which the way they did it was perfect.
Yeah,
Logan Paul. His thing ever since he got to WWE, especially when he was feuding with Roman a while ago, is he has an operated hand or whatever, or he has like a titanium hand where he punches people and you don't get up. Like, that's it. You're done. You don't want to you get hit by Logan Paul's punch. And Kevin Owens took a punch not too long ago. He's like, there's no punch that you can do that can keep me down for 3 seconds, let alone knock me out. And he proved it one episode on Raw. Logan Paul snuck a punch in and Kevin Owens got up. He's like, is that all you fucking got? And then he just beat his ass. But anyway, they're doing the match. And then at one point, Logan Paul, you see somebody come out the crowd, and it's just a random person in a white t-shirt. Maybe he's a famous YouTuber. I don't know. I remember Rudy and Jazz like, who's this guy? I'm like, I don't know. That's a Logan Paul friend, I guess. I have no idea.
One of Logan Paul's goons.
While that guy's getting tossed out by security, another person comes and slips Logan Paul some brass knuckles.
It was Austin Theory.
You're right. It was Austin Theory. I thought it was somebody else. It was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, I think, because Kevin Owens used to just punch them backstage for fun. But anyway. He's got they give him brass knuckles, as remember William Regal back in the day. He goes to try to hit Kevin Owens with it. Kevin Owens realizes what's happening, stops it, puts on the brass knuckles himself, and knocks Logan Paul out. He goes to pin him, and then the referee catches it after he counts 3. And look at that referee's face.
Yeah, it was what? No, and then I'm going. There's another moment where I'm going crazy because I think he goes 1, 2. And then and we all think he said 3, and then the fucking camera pans to the ref, and he's just pointing with that face, and I'm like, no, it's not gonna happen. Like,
he saw the brass knuckles. The referees never catch this, and this is the one referee in the history of wrestling to catch this. I think during the pin.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, it's probably happened to Regal a bunch of times. He always got screwed over. But so he catches it. It was like, hey, Kevin Owens gets disqualified, winner by disqualification, and still United States champion Logan Paul. But it was a great finish. I loved how they did that. It was a very entertaining match because of that specific part.
The funny thing is, like, so Kevin Owens is about to leave after this, comes back, keeps whooping on Logan. I think he drops him through the table, and then he grabs a cough drop and walks away.
I thought he picked up the brass knuckles. It was a cough drop?
It was a cough drop. It was a cough drop. He popped in his mouth. He just smiling the whole walk away.
Yeah, I forgot. I don't remember. By this point, my back was gone. I was just ready to go home.
Oh, he
Not
was.
gonna lie.
So angry.
And then we move on to the men's Royal Rumble, and one of my favorite parts of the Rumble. So I can't remember who started it, but I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. The men's Rumble bored me.
It was Jay and Jimmy Uso.
Oh, that's right.
That crowd went crazy for Jay.
They really
Crazy.
did. They
I
really
loved
did. I mean, I was in pain. I just wanted to get out. My back hurt. My legs were tired. I just wanted to go home at this
I'm not
point.
gonna lie. Thank God for Jazz. Jazz brought the energy the whole.
I told you
night.
I wasn't going to.
No, I didn't. I don't care about you. I'm just saying, like, you don't understand. This girl had the energy when we were in the car. The moment every time that someone came out, she was standing up. She took a video for almost every person that came in the men's Royal Rumble, and then got mad as fuck about not being able to see an apple.
But the apple showed up.
Yeah,
we're talking about Carlito.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's one of my highlights for the Rumble. I just want to talk about Truth. Our Truth is back, and he's in the correct Royal Rumble. But because this man is so confused all the time, he was trying to get tagged in.
Hilarious. Best. It might be the best part of the night.
So Dominic, this is Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio's son, who's part of the Judgment Day. And Truth is like, tag me in, I got this. And Dominic's looking at him, was like, what the fuck are you doing? This is a Royal Rumble. There's no tags. While this is happening, Gunther, another wrestler, I think it was Gunther, puts Dominic in this headlock, and Dominic's just dying. And then he's just like, Truth, help me. And Truth's like, tag me in.
And the Truth is getting the crowd hyped. He's like clapping.
He's clapping, and the whole crowd was just like, yeah, tag him in. Let's go. Tag Truth in.
That's funny.
It's funny, Dominic, and you have the hot tag moment. Whenever you guys have seen wrestling, you see a tag team match, they have the hot tag where one person's in trouble. They finally tag the other person comes in, and they start doing these moves.
Their dear life.
So, like, Dominic, he's, like, about to die. He gets out the hole. He jumps and tags Truth. We all lose our minds. Our Truth comes out and just starts doing John Cena's 5 moves of doom. It's funny because Truth, who's been wrestling since, like, the mid-90s, but has never aged a day, and he could still go better than a lot
Black
of people.
don't crack.
Bro. And Truth is just like in great shape. And he had said, he's like, yeah, when I was a little kid, I used to look up to John Cena and wanted to grow up to be just like him. Sir, you're older than Cena. You had a wrestling career before he did. But that's why he just starts doing Cena. So he's doing the shoulder blocks, the you can't see me, which we all chanted, you can't see me, along with Truth. He does the 5-knuckle shuffle. And it was great. We all just started cheering for Truth. It was an amazing moment. I loved it. I still say it to this day. Let this man have a world title run. I want to see Truth with the world title because he's going to be so confused the whole time. And it's going to be the most entertaining thing. He's not even going to realize he's champion. Like, it's going to be phenomenal. Another highlight of the Royal Rumble was Braun Breaker. Rudy, how'd you feel about Braun Breaker?
The name definitely fits.
I mean, I've always been so he's
Braun Breaker.
So he's a Steiner, right? And I've been a fan of the Steiners ever since.
They don't know what that means. They don't know what that means, Rudy.
Yeah, isn't one of them Rick Steiner?
See,
the fuck you know about Rick Steiner?
I know the name.
Leave him alone. He's just a boy.
That's crazy. He knows the name, not even the famous one, but he knows Rick Steiner.
He knows Rick Steiner.
Is one name Scott?
This is the son of Rick Steiner. Yeah, and the other one's Scott. You motherfuckers. You actually know.
Oh,
Scott.
Scott Steiner. Okay, I know more. I remember.
Oh my gosh. Have faith.
Scott Steiner, the owner of that one show.
Bro, this is how Alzheimer works, bro. It comes in waves. Like, you know what I
these are things neither one of you have any business knowing.
So
that'd
be funny if me and Dan just guessed the right name.
Rick and Scott.
Oh yeah, the Steiners. Yeah, Rick and Scott.
Yeah.
So he's Rick's son, and I saw him on NXT, and I was like, he looks. And when I saw him on NXT, I think I was on the phone with Dan because Jazz likes to call Dan whenever wrestling's on to get some commentary, and so
I'm great at commentary, guys.
He's really good at it. So I saw him on NXT. I'm like, he looks really familiar. Like, oh yeah, that's Rick's son. And I was like, oh shit, because this guy's jacked. He looks just like his dad and his uncle. And when I saw him come out, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, because he's jacked. He's like a beast. Like, and him coming out, and then Dan, all you hear from Dan is like, oh, he's about to have a highlight reel right here. And then it's pretty much what happened.
He just goes to town. Like, Braun is just going out. He's kicking ass. That's one of the reasons why before the Rumble started, Rudy and Jazz, they would text me and stuff. And I remember there was one day in particular, I texted Rudy. He's like, hey, are you watching NXT? He's like, should I? And I was like, it doesn't help. You're probably going to see some people who are going to be on NXT show up in there. One of the people for sure. I was just like, okay, Braun Breaker, I have a feeling is going to probably pop up in there. So I'm glad you got to see Braun before then. So, you kind of have an idea of what to expect.
This guy's super athletic, super jacked, moves really quick. He was doing spears on people. He was throwing people around. Really
Yeah,
dope.
powerful as all hell too. Yeah, Braun Breaker. What do I have next? I don't even know what's next on there. Oh, ready?
Yes.
I put this
Oh
in just
my
for
gosh.
you. I put this in
Oh, it was
just
the
for you.
best. Let me
You
start off by
explain this
saying,
whole segment. I'm gonna say
all
what I
right.
got to say.
So this is Pat McAfee, right? First of all, Pat McAfee is a punter or former punter in the NFL. Then he went on to have his own show, the Pat McAfee Show, which got picked up by ESPN. He's fucking killing it. He's fucking killing it. So then Pat comes out in the beginning of the show as a special guest commentator, and that was in the very early stages of the show. When that happened, he has his own theme song. That shit went off. I went fucking ballistic. I went crazy. And Dan's over here like this. Dan's like so annoyed. Like he knows I like Pat. And he's like, Pat's nice. He's cool, but he don't mean shit. So then at some point in the Rumble, Pat's music hits, and I fucking lose my shit again. Like I fucking go crazy. Now, mind you, it's one of the most awkward moments I've ever had in my life. Because I stayed up, I'm like, let's fucking go. And I look around, no one's standing up. It's just me. It's just me and Jazz. And I feel like Jazz is just supporting me in my endeavors.
That's all it is.
And I'm telling you, I look to my left, that same girl that was twerking, she ain't doing shit. I look to my right, Dan's sitting down. That
She's
girl
just
with
looking at you with
that girl,
disappointment.
she's not doing damn thing. And
I
they're
was looking at
me.
Rudy with disappointment.
They were looking at me, and I feel like they were like, he ain't no real fucking fan. And
Get
so
out
Pat
of here, poser.
So Pat goes in there. I'm like, let's go, Pat, win that shit. Win it. And goes in.
Hang on.
He sees
Omos, who's like 7'4". He sees Braun Breaker, who's a goddamn monster. And somebody else was in there too, another big person. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, just these monsters just standing in the ring when it's his turn.
He sees them. He crawls right out the ring, jumps over the top rope, and he's about to just step out, and then he goes right back, and he's like, all right, you know what? And no, he literally gets the fuck out. He jumps over the
he
top
just
rope.
eliminates himself.
He eliminates himself, gets the fuck out. He's like, nope, not doing it. Never mind. And then I rewatched the Rumble later, like to see what the commentary was like, and you just hear Pat, did you see what the fuck was in there? Like he's just like, you should stop that, man. And Michael Cole's like, I just want to say that I'm still the longest. I saw the longest time for an announcer to ever go into the Royal Rumble. And he's like, did you have Omos in there? Like he's just getting mad at him the whole time. He just kept coming back to it. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
I was so upset.
So that's the thing. So think about this from Rudy's perspective. The only person in this entire fucking arena that cared that Pat McAfee was to go in this match, and then Pat does that. That's what he does. And then he sits down, and I'm just looking at him. And I say to Rudy, he took a wrestler's spot in this fucking match.
I was about to say, like, they couldn't find anybody else to be in that spot. Mm-hmm. Like, did they run out? Well, I mean, they fucking fired them all. So
that's what I said. There's so many other wrestlers in the WWE that are not in this match. Hey, Xavier Woods of the New Day was not in this match. Why?
But you don't understand through my eyes, through the lens. I was so disappointed that Pat jumped out the ring, right? And I sit down, and Jazz is blocking my view. So I sit down, and as I go past Jazz, all I see is an angry-looking Dan just staring me down, just the whole time. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, Dan. He's like, if Big E ain't here, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I just want to see Big E. My highlight was, man, have Big E come back after the really bad injury he had. I want to see Big E come back. Short story, Big E didn't come back this night. Yeah. Big E didn't show up.
Jack said it was a comic relief.
It was. It 100% was comic relief. It's just, yeah. Because of Rudy, I have negative feelings towards Pat McAfee, and I shouldn't. It's all because of Rudy. 100% because of Rudy. That's the only reason why I have anything against Pat.
I love that.
Jack also said Big E is coming back.
And now he's the commentator on Raw.
Yeah, he's the official commentator on Monday Night Raw.
I think that'll only last until football season comes back around.
No, who gives a shit? So, Pat did his thing. Then we move on to the final two. I know I'm skipping a lot in the men's rumble. Rudy, before we talk about this, is there anything else in the men's rumble you want to talk about specifically? I'm just not remembering.
I'm trying to think. So Pat went in, he got out. Omos got knocked out by Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker got eliminated by Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, he got eliminated by Dominic Mysterio. No, I'm trying to think if there's any other really crazy.
It was a very not memorable rumble, in my opinion.
Yeah. No.
CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes was the last two.
Yep. The two that everyone's just like, one of these two is going to win. I was fully in the Cody camp the whole time.
What's your boy's name again? The Sox guy? I forget his name.
Jack.
So Jack says that Andrade came back.
Thank you. I completely forgot about that. Andrade came back. He was like number 3. He was early. I don't know if it was number 3 exactly. Andrade, who was
it was number 4.
Thank you. Number 4. So Andrade, who was in WWE many years ago, the husband of one Charlotte Flair, he left WWE because they weren't doing anything. If I remember correctly, he put out a tweet that said "fuck WWE" at some point,
Wow.
and he
Who
goes to
hasn't?
AEW. He goes to AEW, and he felt that in AEW he wasn't being utilized as such. And for the most part, he's not wrong. He really wasn't being utilized as much. Andrade is one of the best wrestlers like ever. In terms of like lucha and stuff like that, he's a phenomenal fucking wrestler. He's great. Love to see what he does in the ring. I feel like the highlight of his career, sadly, was like in NXT. Not sadly, like, oh my god, it was just NXT. Like, he kicked ass at NXT at the time where NXT was like, in my opinion, the best wrestling show. So he's not being utilized that much, and it sucks. But he's come back to WWE. He's very happy about it. So I really hope that he just gets used properly this time around. Unfortunately, I just feel like wherever he goes, that they don't really do much with him.
I was gonna ask you. He said black and gold.
Black and gold NXT.
Okay, yeah, that's what it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's when NXT was at its highest. You saw the hat I was wearing that day. It was
Yeah,
NXT in the black and gold lettering. That's from that era.
yeah, I cleaned that hat.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Who was the all right? Question is it kind of leads into this. Who's the big dude that used to have a sword that was near the end of the Royal Rumble?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre. So my question to you is Drew McIntyre a safe wrestler because he actually caused injuries to both Cody and CM Punk in this match?
As far as I know, yeah, I don't remember him really hurting people. The Royal Rumble match is, I know I've heard many times, considered like one of the most dangerous matches. Battle Royals usually are because you have so many people in the ring trying to do different things. You have to make sure you're not falling on somebody. You make sure you're not rolling an ankle or just doing something that kind of could potentially injure somebody. Hence, making it one of the most dangerous matches because there's just so many people in that ring.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that's part of it. I don't want to say that they're injury prone. They have had injuries in the past couple of years. Cody's known for letting it all out. Like, Cody does not hold back. He was the guy I remember a couple of years ago. I'm sorry, never mind. Eslam Disco, you don't remember. But a little while ago on the podcast, Powerbomb Weekly, I was showing how Cody, after he had torn a bicep or a pec, I can't remember what it was, and it was just like literally, yeah, it was a pec, and it was just all bruised, and he had an entire match like that. Like, Cody's the guy who would be dying in the middle of, like, I remember once in AEW, he was on fire. He was literally on fire. Like, he just doesn't stop. Punk in the past couple of years, he's gotten hurt quite a few times. So he's pretty much like, I want to say he's between the two. I would consider him the more safer wrestler. Punk is a little bit older than some people in the match and stuff, so that might have something to do with it too. But yeah, they both got away. I don't really think it's Drew being unsafe. I think it was just shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, did you hear about the injuries though? Well, I mean, you probably heard about CM Punk's injury, but Cody lost.
I know Cody lost a tooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was laying next to him in the ring.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it happens. But yeah, so the last two were Cody and Punk. This was a very, from our perspective, a Punk heavy crowd, I would say, right, Rudy?
Yeah, it's fucking crowd. That's the only guy Dan stood up for. So the fucking, and I felt like I was out of the loop.
This was out of respect.
Yeah, everybody went fucking crazy when CM Punk came out. Dan stood up. By this point, I was getting tired of standing, and then I looked around, everybody standing. I'm like, all right, I ain't about to be that guy.
CM Punk, you have to respect the man.
Yeah, that's fine. Like everybody looked at me angry when Pat McAfee came out. I didn't want people looking at me angry for not standing for Punk, so I stood up.
Now, I know you're not going to go to a WWE show, stand for Pat, and not stand for Punk.
So does Punk and Cody have I guess a good working relationship in WWE now, or they still have issues in the back?
They never had issues. They weren't into AEW at the same time, remember?
Oh, Cody left before CM Punk came in. Okay.
Yep.
Never mind.
Yeah, they might have had issues in WWE way back in the day in like 2006 or whatever when they were there together, but that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, they, as far as I know, they have a good relationship, but obviously that's between them. But yeah, so anyway, they're the last two. They're going back and forth. It's funny because I want to say this is a Punk crowd. Now, Rudy, like I said at the beginning of the show, people were hating on the Tropicana Field crowd. Punk, he does this thing where when he comes out to the match, he kind of like looks, he kind of goes on his knee a little bit. He looks at an imaginary wrist watch on his wrist, looks at it, does whatever, and he shouts, "It's clobbering time," made famous by the Thing from the Fantastic Four. CM Punk's a comic book guy. And he did that, and nobody in the arena did it. I didn't do it either, unfortunately, because I was dead tired. I didn't think about it, and I was probably still trying to get up at that point. But yeah, so nobody in the arena shouted that, and it's like now that I think back on it, it's like you're right. That crowd, we let him down. We let him down. So CM Punk, I apologize. But yeah. Anyway, they have their match. They go back and forth. Punk is injured at this point. What was it? A torn tricep, right, Rudy?
Yeah.
Torn tricep. Yet the man manages to put Cody Rhodes on his shoulder about 6 fucking times to try to hit the GTS. He ends up hitting him with a pedigree, which is holy shit. Punk does a pedigree. That's unheard of, especially with the issues with he and Triple H in the past. And yeah, they do that. And then in the end, it finishes up with Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble for the second year in a row. And WWE, weeks before this, they kept on ramming it down our throat. The reason why I felt Cody was the one who was going to win, they kept on saying it over and over again. Nobody's won 2 Royal Rumbles in a row since like 97 and 98. I think those were the years with Stone Cold Steve Austin. They just kept telling us and telling us and telling us. I was like, okay, so Cody's winning. I get it. Appreciate it. And, they just kept doing it. They've never done that in any other Rumble before, like hyping up Royal Rumble. So it's kind of just a given. But, it was still, it's like, if it's not him, it's going to be Punk. And having them be the last 2, and they were fighting a lot. Like, the rules are supposed to be, which they're not, every 90 seconds, a new entrant goes into the match. They weren't doing that. Rudy, how fast were the men going through in this Rumble? They were flying.
The moment someone went out the ring, another one came in.
Literally. It's just running through it. And then at the very end, Cody and Punk had enough time to have like basically like a match, like, in the ring. So they kept on doing that for a while. Then Cody eventually wins. He points at the WrestleMania sign. He does his little hand gestures to Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks because he's still from AEW. And it was a cool moment. Cody wins. It's great to see him win. I'm glad that he's the guy who wins 2 back-to-back. I do like that. At the end of the night, though, I was just so fucking tired. I just wanted to go home. And they kept playing that same fucking theme song over and over again for about 45 minutes. And Rudy's up there standing. He's cheering. I'm just in pain. I just wanted to leave.
Loving it. Loving every moment.
It was rough. And then that's the Royal Rumble. We went home after that. We were all dead tired. We felt like we were in the Rumble. And then when I came back to South Carolina, I needed an entire day to rest. So that was
nice.
That was the Rumble. I needed some days to rest. It's insane. Like, because we got there, the actual thing didn't start till like 7:30 or no, it didn't start till like 8. And I guess like getting everything set up started around 7:30. We got there at like 5:30, and time fucking flew. Like by the time the thing was ready to start, and literally the next day, I'm fucking exhausted. Jazz was like, "Don't wake me up! I'll fucking kill you." Her alarm went off, woke me the fuck up. I was pissed. Monday came, I was still tired. Jazz is talking, she's dead. What's today? Today's Wednesday. It was Tuesday. I was still tired. Like I literally felt like I was in the Rumble. I don't know what it is, but I just felt exhausted.
Yeah, man, I'll do that too. Now, one thing I want to mention, you guys know anytime I fly somewhere, I have stories.
Yes. Let's go.
Nothing. It was great. It was a great time.
What she said going down,
man. That's disappointing. I'm upset right now. No.
You made it sound like there was definitely a story there.
Let me tell you my perspective before Dan says nothing happened to him. So I go to pick this guy up from the airport. I get him. We go on the elevator. He gets his bag. He's complaining because like they had already scratched up his shit. It was hot.
I got a brand new bag and it's scratched.
He was mad. I get it. So we get on the elevator and I'm like, all right, we got to go up because I park on the top floor to always find my car easily. And this Jamaican woman who I don't know what she's saying at all. I push and we get on the elevator, which has the arrow going up. I push 9 because we're going up. She fucking looks at me. She's like, going down, Baba.
No, she's like, I need 2, Baba.
Yeah, I need 2, Baba. I need 2. And I'm like, this is going up. She's like, oh, all right. And then she's like upset, but she couldn't do shit.
Talking on the phone, whatever language she was speaking, just talking shit about Rudy.
Talking mad shit about it. And then we get another moment we get to the not to the arena, we get to like waiting to go into the arena, and Dan's trying to make me do some dance, like it's like he's like you gotta put your hands together like this and then I'm like doing it, and mind you, he's like put your body into it. So, and then the people behind me are dying laughing. I'm like, that's it. I'm not embarrassing myself. I had a backpack on. I had a clear backpack that should have been okay to bring in. They said it wasn't. But the people behind me were like, oh, that guy's a real wrestling fan right there. Because I had a Bret Hart shirt on, and only like people from the 90s are actually even gonna know who Bret Hart is. And Jazz is like, you can give me the bag, I'll hold up. I'm like, no. I can't have more people fucking talk about me behind my back like this. I was so mad. And then apparently my bag wasn't good. It was a backpack that was see-through. Wasn't good enough, but some old bitch who you couldn't see in her bag, she got to go in. I was upset.
Yeah, no, I had a good time, guys. It was an easy flight.
Yeah, I think in most arenas, backpacks of a certain size aren't allowed in, no matter what, if they're see through or not. They have
No,
to
there
be
was people
smaller.
that had bigger bags than Rudy.
Oh,
Yeah,
they just didn't like you
they
then.
just didn't let Rudy
I didn't
in.
like him. This man, the man that was checking us in, he had a fucking flashlight going through this bitch's bag and shit. Got to me. It was like, hey, Rick, this okay? He's like, no, too big. Like, I never should win this line. I was so mad.
Rick was a Shawn Michaels fan.
So mad.
Damn, bro. Shouldn't have wore that Bret Hart shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
maybe.
really nice shirt. Really, no, it was no, that shirt was amazing. But yeah, no, for me, I had to fly out of North Carolina, so I actually had to drive like an hour and a half to the airport.
Why?
Because the airport here sucks.
Yo,
I
his
couldn't
flight,
get a direct flight.
we
from
looked up
here
his
to
flight. His flight
Tampa.
said it was going to take him, I think it was going to take him from,
It was either going to take me to North Carolina or it was going to take me to Atlanta before I got to Tampa.
it was going to go up to go down. I had
Yeah.
never seen anything like that.
No, that happens to be all the Rudy. I've been experiencing that my whole fucking life. All right, but yeah. Anyway, so I was like, fuck that. I could just, and it's gonna cost a lot more. So I was like, fuck it. Let me just drive to North Carolina to Charlotte. It's like an hour and a half, and then from there I just fly out. And I was like, all right, let me get there early. So I legit was awake at like 4 a.m. I get to the airport, found parking easily, got everything. Like literally, the whole experience was simple. I haven't flown American in years. They had a comfortable seat. Believe it or not, it was insane. Went over there. I had to fly Spirit coming back, and I was like, I've never flown Spirit. I know it's bad things. I purposely got their quote unquote first class seat, and really comfortable chair. I was so comfortable. I was nodding off the entire flight. Came back, and it was good. I got back in my car. I drove home. Like literally, the travel was no issues.
Yeah.
Jack said that. Said his wife was in Orlando and had to go through Detroit to get to South Carolina.
That's wild.
That's
Dude, I'm telling you,
crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it makes no sense. But yeah, man.
But apparently, he had nice flights.
Yeah, no, I had really good flights. I haven't had flights that good in years.
I'd take care of you.
No, it wasn't you. But yeah, so anyway, that's the Rumble. I'm gonna kind of
Any final thoughts? Let's wrap this one up. Dan.
I have some final thoughts that are not pertaining to wrestling. But if you guys want to cover the wrestling stuff first.
No, just say your final thoughts.
Yeah, say what you guys are.
My final thoughts are so I saw an ad today this week about Baja Blast actually being sold by the bottle. They're bottling the Baja now.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. I always thought it was just that Taco Bell.
It was. It's usually like a
they said
limited
that
time
it's
summer
be sold
thing.
everywhere now, though. So it's not just Taco Bell. At least on the ad that I saw, I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, after a while, it came out during like a certain time of year where for a limited time, and then it went off the shelves again. I actually just had one like a couple of weeks ago, from 7-Eleven.
From a bottle?
Yeah.
Oh damn, that's crazy.
It doesn't taste the same. Just
yeah?
like how like bottled Coca-Cola and like Coca-Cola from McDonald's don't taste the same. There's like there's a little, but yeah, it does. I still think like the Taco Bell Baja Blast tastes better, but it's still good. And yeah, they've been doing that for years now.
Damn. Well, I'm new to that. I just found out, just like I just found out Bray Wyatt passed. Just give me a couple months.
Did a whole
and I'll
episode
figure it out. I'll figure
Did a whole
it.
episode on it.
Hey, tag me on that episode. I wasn't there.
Rudy, final thoughts.
I was looking at Jack's comment where he goes, the problem is the people that are pieces of shit don't know they're pieces of shit. The accuracy of that statement is so true.
Yeah.
I was literally in a Twitch stream for a Halo Pro the other day where he was pissed off at another player who's like a semi-pro because he dropped the N-word and he was like with the hard R in his gameplay streaming, and that guy was like, I'm not a racist. I've dated black girls, this, that, and third, and I put a comment. Excuse. I hate that. Like I put in the comment. I put a comment in there, and everybody understood it when I put this context. Was that the problem is people like to say I'm racist or I'm not racist, and they think it's a complete thing. But the reality is that racism lives on a spectrum, and if you're on that spectrum, whether it's a little bit or a lot, you could be. It's racist. That's just all it is. And that guy still didn't get it after that point. But yeah,
No.
whether you're a piece of shit a little bit or a piece of shit all the time, you live on a spectrum related to being a piece of shit, and that's just it.
Yeah.
In relation, I mean, final thoughts. It's like Dan said, it's really weird to watch wrestling content as a result. It's good. It feels a little better knowing that Vince isn't part of it, but it still hurts to know he built it. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Like if you knew a racist, like, I don't know, created Batman, you'd feel weird about Batman,
Well,
and
Bob
you
Kane
still.
has his issues, so I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, if that was the case, you look at the
Was he
content different.
anti-Semitic?
No, Bob Kane. Bill Finger helped create Batman, and Bill Finger never got credit until well after he was dead. Bob Kane took all the credit for it.
Oh,
But
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Bill Finger is
I
literally the guy
thought he
who
was
like drew
pulling
him
a
and
Walt
everything.
Disney or something.
Yeah, no, Bob Kane was just like, no, Batman's based off of me, and then he pretended to be he was Bruce Wayne. It was a whole thing. It was like Bill Finger just legit. I think he ended up with just like nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like that's what I'm saying though. It's just it's crazy to think like so. It's like I want to be excited for the road to WrestleMania, like especially after Royal Rumble. Like I want, especially it's going to be at the Eagle Stadium on top of everything else for me. So like I want to be interested and I want to be invested in it, but it's like it still feels weird, and I have no doubt that I can just expect more news and allegations to be coming out leading up to WrestleMania because, like I told Dan, it's very convenient that the lawyers related to Janelle Grant dropped this information before Royal Rumble. I'm sure they're going to continue because there's so much focus on WWE at this point leading up to
Hmm.
the WrestleMania that it amplifies her case and everything that they're
Oh,
trying to do.
100%. It puts
So
her name in the media along with it.
exactly.
Dan.
Yeah. Final thoughts from me. I'll try to keep it quick. Obviously, what Rudy said makes sense. It's a little weird watching WWE knowing that Vince, who created one of the things I love more than most anything in the world, um, you know, could potentially have done all these horrific things. It fucking sucks. It makes me think of Benoit,
Mm.
where Chris Benoit, one of my all time favorite wrestlers,
Yep.
and then what happened with he and his family, what he did to his family, what he did to himself. It's one of those things over time, but I mean over time. It took a while. I really had to get to a point where I had to really separate the two things. Like, listen, Chris Benoit, whether it was whether it was steroids, whether it was the roid rage, whether it was CTE damage, whether it was alcohol, like all these things went into play.
All those things are just a form of mental illness.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things where it's just like, yes, he had mental illness, and you know, some people they look at what he did, they can forgive him. Other people cannot. At the end of the day, whether you forgive him or you don't, 3 people died,
Yeah.
and it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible tragedy. So it's like one of those things where I have to look at Benoit, and I was like, Benoit has some of my all-time favorite wrestling matches. Some of my like even when he was Pegasus Kid, Wild Pegasus in New Japan, all those things, he did so much. But I truly like Jack is saying in the chat there, you have to separate the artist and the craft from the person. So it's one of those things where with Benoit, that's what I do. Where it's just like there's Benoit the wrestler, there's Benoit the person. I don't know Benoit the person. I know Benoit the wrestler was great and had some of my favorite moments I've ever seen in wrestling, and I loved everything he did. With this Vince thing, it's very different,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where it's just like you created something I love. Thank you for that, really. But this other shit is fucked up, and you need to be dealt with because of it.
Yeah.
So that's really what I come down to.
Um. Yeah, man. I agree with everything being said, but it's just. I mean, I don't have like any. I'm indifferent about Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
Wrestling, I enjoyed it at some part in my life, and just got separated away from it. Kind of just like certain types of music, and kind of now music in general. Like I barely listen to it anymore. I don't know why. It just I don't know. Just happened. So, but the actions are very horrific. If they are true. So and if they are true, God, I hope whatever judge has this case will make a very, very good example out of him. So my Those are my final thoughts. Thank you for listening to the Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, and review. Go check out the Los Wise Guys website. Go check us out on YouTube. Thank you for listening. Have a great week.